Okay, so the Supreme Court sits down next week to hear back-to-back oral arguments in two cases about women's sports. One is out of Idaho, the other out of West Virginia. In both of these cases, you've got biological men who identify as females, and they're challenging their state's laws that ban them from competing in women's sports. So let's bring in now West Virginia Attorney General J.B. McCuskey. He is defending his state's Save Women's Sports Act. He will be there inside the courtroom, and he joins me now. JB, good to have you on the program. Explain to us, I mean, you're getting ready for this big showdown in front of the justices on Tuesday. What are you going to argue?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court's sitting down to hear this case, and we're standing up for women and girls across this country. And what the Supreme Court is going to hear is a challenge to West Virginia's law, which, as you said, ensures that biological boys do not play sports against biological girls. The reason this is important is that we know that biological men have physical characteristics that give them an extreme advantage on the athletic playing field. And so what our law does is says, you know, we're going to delineate sports based on your sex. And this is a fair and a common sense law that is applied equally to both men and to women, which is why this law passes easily muster under the Equal Protection Clause. But they further make the argument that this law violates Title IX, which we find very interesting because the very purpose of Title IX was to ensure that women and girls had access to athletic playing fields and the academic opportunities that come from being elite at competitive sports. And what we've seen over the last 50 years since Title IX has been implemented is an explosion of women who finished playing competitive sports, either at college or in high school, into the CEO ranks of American corporations, as well as into very high-ranking positions in the government. And so we believe that this law actually bolsters the intent of Title IX as opposed to being violative of it. So we feel really good about our argument, and we're really excited to make it on Tuesday.
So the president earlier in 2025 passed an executive order banning transgender men from playing in women's sports, and then 30 states came out with their own laws banning transgender students in sports, and that includes Idaho and West Virginia. Explain to me what would happen if the Supreme Court does come back and sides with you in your case. Is this federalized then? Is this over?
It isn't federalized. And so what's really interesting is that it's a very simple case at its nuts and bolts. And what the court is really going to be deciding is whether or not states like West Virginia have the ability to pass common sense laws that regulate athletics in this way. And so if the Supreme Court goes in our way, which we believe it's going to, what that will open up is the ability for states to regulate this athletic arena and to ensure that women and girls have safe and fair playing fields to play on. And so really the outgrowth of what a victory in this case will be for us is to give certainty to the rest of the state legislatures in the country that they can act in the same way that West Virginia has.
And then Congress would have to federalize something like this. I want to make an interesting point here, something that's developed in recent months here. One of the plaintiffs in the Idaho case, right, actually wants the high court to dismiss the case because of fears of harassment at school. This is a trans athlete, Lindsay Hecox, sued Idaho originally to compete in the Boise State University women's cross-country team. Her attorney writes this: while playing women's sports is important to Miss Hecox, her top priority is graduating from college and living a healthy and safe life. I don't think I've ever heard of this where a plaintiff sort of is, right before this goes to the high court, wants this to be dismissed. How is that going to affect even your case, and what's going to happen on Tuesday?
Yeah, let me start by saying it is inappropriate to harass any student for any reason, right? And so if that is happening to Ms. Hecox, I certainly hope that ceases. All that Idaho and West Virginia are trying to do is to make sure that girls and women have a place to play against people that are similarly situated to them in their size and strength. But the reason I believe that that case, the Idaho case, they're asking it to be mooted is because they're starting to see the cracks in their argument. And what they really don't want is to lose twice. And we know they're going to lose our case, and I'm pretty sure they're going to lose the Idaho case too.
You said it's the same team, right, on both of these cases?
I believe so. That's correct. We're pretty hyper-focused on the group of people fighting our law, but I believe it is the same people.
Okay. All right. You think that all the 9 justices will go in your favor. We'll see if that turns out to be true. On Tuesday, we might get a decision. What do you think? This summer?
Probably in June.
Okay.
And let me say this. I've known you for a long time, and I am just so excited for you to have your own show. No one deserves it more. I don't believe I found a journalist anywhere who is as good as you are. So I'm really excited to be one of your first guests.
You might be biased, but thank you for saying that.
Maybe just a little bit.
Thank you so much.
And your show's going to be great.
And we'll be following your case as well. Thank you, JB, for coming on.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
to see you.